Because to think in terms of useful or non-useful does not have a moral connotation associated with it, where bad or good does. You are morally okay. You are not morally okay. That creates such a separation. But this is useful and this is not useful. Now this allows us to look at what's going on. And you know, what you do, what you observe may be faulty. Maybe all kinds of mistakes that are involved in this. But there's the realization also that I, as a person, am okay. So I made a mistake. So what? And as you begin to understand this, you can extend that same kind of consideration to other people. And it becomes so much easier to be able to evaluate situations clearly and look at the positive and the negative of it from a standpoint of not good or bad, but what is useful and what is not useful. What adds value? What doesn't add value? And out of that comes a kind of self-motivation, that something that gets you to move toward that which it is you want to experience in your life. And the reason that it leads to this kind of self-motivation is that shorn of the judgments that we so often carry with us, we begin to see that there's meaning and purpose in virtually everything we do. And that is focus, one of my favorite 5 letters. Now, another part of all this is another word that is a problem to some people. And that word is responsibility. Have you ever heard of that? You see, it's truly taking responsibility for your life. And often when we categorize things in the manner that I was talking about, good or bad, evil or not evil, it's hard to live into the kind of responsibility that you own it. Then you can deal with it. A lot of times that allows you to just separate yourself from it. You create avoidance mechanisms. But in this taking of responsibility, first of all, you have the right and the responsibility to choose what you want to do with your life. And there may be a little feeling of resistance among some of you when you look back at your life and you realize that, you know, if my mother or father didn't do this, or the teachers didn't say that, or that damn minister that I had when I was going to the XYZ church over here had treated me a little bit different, I wouldn't be... If you can realize that much, then you're already beyond it. So don't use that as an excuse. You have the right and the responsibility to choose what you want to do with your life. God gave you free will. Free will within the bounds of your own capabilities, within the bounds of your own potential, your skills and your talents. You say, well, you know, with God everything is possible. Yes, everything is possible that's possible for you. We each have skills and talents, and my talents are different than your talents. And I have absolute choice in how I'm going to pursue the development of my talents and skills in order to be able to optimize my experience of life. And that's what I mean when I say within the capabilities of, within the bounds of my own capabilities. Now, I'm allowed to make mistakes in my life. You know, I can scream and I can cuss and I can steal and I can cheat. Or on the other hand, I can support, I can be there to help uplift people and encourage them. And I can change my mind in any of this. That's the choice. I can change my mind and do something else. And this is the divine gift of choice. It's always mine. It's always yours. You know something? It will not always be right. So when you talk about right and wrong, that's okay. You know what I mean. In other words, you're going to make mistakes. You have that divine gift to make mistakes. But what you do and what you experience out of this is only going to be flawless, let's say, or free of mistakes. talking about the degree to which you are aware of the truth of who you really are. Your true nature, that image likeness of God that you are, and the implications of that. And the more we get an insight in the possibilities, the unlimited possibilities that are there for us, grow in awareness of that, the more we can begin to draw those into our life simply by being aware of them. Isn't that amazing? You know, a good command to give a friend of yours sometime, if he or she is doing something stupid, is just to say, wake up, or stop it. We talked about that recently. You say, oh, but can't you give me some mystical set of words or mantra that is going to conjure up the spirit of Guru Dudu from out there in the universe somewhere, going to come in and transform our life? No, it won't happen. You make the choice, and the transformation occurs within you. And as we begin to realize this, our awareness really has to do with the degree to which we know our own God-likeness. Then we realize that we are, in a sense, always doing the very best that we can under the circumstances. I had a teacher, a Sufi teacher, talk about this in my class last Thursday night. He was a Sufi, and a variety of other kinds of things he incorporated into his system. And he made the comment one time that anything that a person does, or not person does it, it is right, proper, and justified. Now, think about that. Or, if that challenge me, that I want to argue with that. Argue with it. Think about it. The key is, whatever a person chooses to do in that moment is right, proper, and justified. He may change his mind 10 minutes later, but in that moment, so in a sense, we really are doing the best that we can under the circumstances. But when we can understand that, we can forgive ourselves because we do have the choice to be able to change our mind about things and stop beating on ourselves for our mistakes or for our inability to live up to the potential that we know we have within us, and that we continually fall short of that. My younger son, which is now 52, 53 years old, I remember when he was a teenager one time, he had done something, and he was always one of these very self-critical kids. I don't know where that came from. And he still is, to some degree. But really, you know, it was hard for him to acknowledge his gifts, and he's so clever and so smart, and except for that self-critical, he takes after me in all of those other ways. But he did something, and he did it very well, and I was just so pleased, and I complimented him about it, and he looked at it and he says, but Dad, I didn't give it my best. I didn't quite know what to say. I probably gave him some words like some kind of pablum, you know, well, that's okay, next time try your best or try harder or something. But the fact of the matter is now, I would look at him and I would just say, stop that! Take the compliment. You did well. Acknowledge yourself. I wouldn't say stupid, but I sure feel like saying stupid. You see what I mean? How many times do we do that? How many times do we fall short of really acknowledging what it is that we are doing? Let's stop beating on ourselves. Let's stop bemoaning the fact that we made a mistake. Mistakes are wonderful if you use them. Mistakes provide us the opportunity to be able to wake up, to expand our awareness, to be able to release a lot of the emotional resistance and suppressed stuff that we hold on to so much, like guilt and self-blame, those kinds of things. You own it. Take responsibility for it and move on. We're never going to be fully free until we accept full responsibility for our life and our actions and bring into play wrapping this up, I just want to say this kind of simple. Nothing that we do is right or wrong, good or bad. There's only that which adds value and takes value. Now, I know some of you can say there is evil. I've seen evil. I know it. And I agree with you. But get the idea in a general sense. Nothing I do is right or wrong or good or bad. But there can be that which is useful and that which is not useful. There is that which is going to add value. There is that which is going to actually take value away from a system or context, something we're dealing with. And this is very useful terminology. It turns your mind around and opens you to be able to look at what's going on in your life without judgment. How can I encourage more of being able to express and live my life in this way? Well, there's some very simple things you can do. You can ask yourself some questions, and I want to leave you with just a few questions here. Actually, they're all pretty much the same question. There may be two questions, but I'll go through. First of all,